Hi, my name is Mia. I'm 25 years old, and I'm from New York City. I always dreamed of being a model. Ever since I was a child, I used to walk in front of the mirror. I watched fashion shows on TV and imagined myself in beautiful clothes, lights flashing, people clapping. My childhood was not always easy. My parents worked a lot, and I spent most of my time alone. But I had a big mirror in my room, and I'd practice walking like a model every evening. I cut out pictures from fashion magazines and stuck them to my wall. They were like windows into a world I wanted to be part of. At school, I was shy. Some girls teased me because I was tall and thin. But I didn't let that stop me. I told myself, one day, you'll be the girl on those magazine covers. I started doing small modeling jobs for local shops when I was 17. It didn't pay much, but it gave me confidence. When I was 22, I met Jason. He was my first real boyfriend. Jason was funny, kind, and always supported my dreams. He came to my small fashion shows, helped me with photo shoots, and always told me, "You're going to be big one day." We were happy. We went to coffee shops, watched old movies, and walked in Central Park every weekend. He gave me a necklace with a tiny heart and said, "Even when you're far away, I'll be with you." I believed him. I believed in us. Jason had dreams too. He wanted to open a coffee shop. He loved making coffee and used to try different beans, different recipes. On Sundays, we would sit in our favorite cafe and talk about our future. I would say, "I'll walk on runways in Paris," and he would say, "And I'll open a small cafe next to a park, so you can rest there after work." He even designed the logo for his cafe. It was a heart made of coffee beans. He printed it on a mug and gave it to me. "For your tea," he said. "Because I know you don't drink coffee." 3 years passed. I was working part-time jobs, taking small modeling gigs, and building my portfolio. Then one day, I got a message that changed my life. An agency from London saw my photos on Instagram. They wanted me to come to England for a few months to work as a model. It was my dream. But it was also scary. I had never lived in another country. I had never been so far away from home. Or from Jason. I told Jason. He smiled, but his eyes looked worried. "I'll miss you," he said. "I'll miss you too," I replied. We promised to call every day. To video chat. To write messages. I kissed him at the airport and whispered, "It's just for a little while." London was big, cold, and beautiful. The first weeks were hard. I missed Jason. I missed home. But then, things got busy. Photo shoots, castings, fashion shows. My name started to appear in small magazines. People began to notice me. I lived in a tiny flat with 2 other girls, Sasha from Russia and Amara from Nigeria. We became like sisters. We laughed, shared food, helped each other practice walking and posing. At night, we stayed up talking about dreams, fears, and the pressure of being perfect. London changed me. It made me stronger. I learned how to take the subway, how to cook with limited ingredients, how to talk to strangers and say no when I needed to. One evening, after a runway show, I met someone. His name was Edward. He was a photographer. Tall, charming, with a soft British accent. He said, "You have eyes that tell stories." I laughed. We started working together. First, it was just work. Then, he invited me for coffee. Then, dinner. We talked about art, travel, life. He listened closely. He remembered the little things I said. Jason used to do that too. Edward showed me places in London I had never seen. Hyde Park, old cafes, the quiet corners of the city where artists gathered. It felt like a new world opening up. He gave me books, poetry, fashion history, novels. He inspired me to think deeper, to express more in front of the camera. He even took me to the countryside. We stayed in a small cottage for a weekend. We walked through the fields, sat by a fire, and talked about everything. He said, sometimes, leaving your comfort zone brings you closer to who you really are. I didn't want to feel anything. I told myself, you have a boyfriend. You love Jason. But when Edward looked at me, something in me changed. I started comparing. Jason's voice on the phone sounded distant now. We argued more. The time difference made things worse. One night, Edward kissed me. I pulled away and said, I have someone. He said, I know. But you looked lonely. I cried that night. I felt guilty. But I also felt confused. Why did part of me want to go back to Edward? Days passed. I spent more time with Edward. We walked by the Thames. We ate fish and chips. He showed me old bookshops and small art galleries. I started to smile again. I laughed without feeling guilty. I felt alive. Then Jason called. I think you're different, he said. I'm just tired, I lied. He said, are you seeing someone else? I couldn't answer. He hung up. After that, I told Edward everything. He didn't judge me. He just said, you need to choose what makes your heart calm. I stayed in London longer than planned. I sent Jason a long message. I told him I was sorry. I told him I was lost. He never replied. Now, it's been a year. I live in London. I still model. Sometimes I see my face on a billboard, and I smile. But it's not always easy. Edward is still in my life. He's kind, patient, and makes me feel seen. But some nights, I touch the heart necklace and remember Jason. I wonder if he found someone new. I wonder if he still wears the hoodie I gave him. I wonder if he hates me or forgives me. Maybe both. I've grown. I take long walks alone now. I sit by the river and write in my journal. I've started painting, something I never had time for before. I paint women, strong, confused, beautiful women, just like me. Sometimes, Edward and I travel together. We went to Paris. Then Rome. Then Tokyo. He takes photos, and I pose. But behind every smile, there's a story. A lesson. A moment I had to walk through. I joined a yoga class. I started reading more, books about healing, love, mistakes, and strength. I volunteer at a shelter for young girls who want to become models. I tell them, chase your dream, but know who you are. I still talk to my parents every Sunday. They're proud of me, but they still ask about Jason. I just say, he was a big part of my life. And that's true. One evening, I opened my journal and wrote, to Jason, I loved you. I still carry that love. But I needed to find myself, too. I started a blog, sharing my story with the world. I received emails from girls in Brazil, India, South Africa. They told me they felt the same pain, the same confusion. I realized I wasn't alone. Sometimes I walk past couples holding hands, and I smile. Sometimes I cry at night when I hear a song we once loved. But I don't run from my feelings anymore. I let them in. I let them pass. And one day, when I was at an art gallery opening, I saw Jason. He was standing by a painting. He looked different. Older, but still familiar. My heart raced. I walked up to him. "Hi," I said. "Mia," he said softly. We talked. Just for a few minutes. He had opened his cafe. He was engaged now. She was an artist. Kind and calm. I felt something break. And something heal. At the same time. We hugged. "I'm happy you're doing well," I said. "You too," he said. Truly. And that was enough. My name is Mia. I chased my dream. I broke a heart. I found a new love. I lost pieces of myself. I picked them up again. I shared my truth. I found peace in letting go. And I'm still learning what love and life really mean. This is my story. And it's still being written.